Welcome back to the Stephie Smalls Show. We're already on to our third major of the year already. Crazy how fast that went by. Sam, how's it going?
It's doing well. But the U.S. Open is, I think, probably the second best, if not the best. I think it depends how much you like the Masters. But the U.S. Open is my second favorite major of the year, hands down. I absolutely love this week.
Yeah, I don't know if I can really argue with you. It is a really fun week, and we'll get into the course a little bit. But Scotty has once again won fifth tournament this year. He sits as the favorite, plus 350 at the U.S. Open. Nothing at all shocking here. He is inevitable.
Really, if he hadn't got arrested, I think we would be talking about him chasing his third straight major, sixth tournament win of the year, or seventh tournament win of the year it would be. He's just the best golfer in the world, completely deserving of everything right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the rest of the top of the board is also not really shocking. I think at this point, Xander should have shorter odds than Rory, though. Do you have any, I feel like Xander's the second best player right now.
Yeah, I don't think that there's much difference between him and Scotty. I think we'll get into that a little bit later.
Yeah.
But I do think Rory's record at U.S. Opens recently has to be taken into account for why his odds are this short.
Yeah, that's fair.
Playing better golf lately. Guy's got a streak of 5 straight top 10s in U.S. Opens. So, we'll see if he can keep it rolling this year.
Yeah, we'll see. I can't root for him. I don't know why. And it's funny. He's stuck as Mr. Nipples now. Like, I've never seen someone whose nipples are constantly showing. Like, does he need to wear an undershirt? I'm not really sure. It's very distracting.
I don't know. I don't think about things like that.
You can't not. That's all I see when I see Rory. But let's talk about the course. Headed to Pinehurst. This is the fourth time since 1999. The greens are going to be fast as fuck. They're going to be tricky. Any comments on the course?
Yeah, I mean, Pinehurst is a golfer's aesthetic wet dream. Basically, that's as simple as I can describe it.
We're off to a start here today with nipples.
This is as pure of a golf course as you can possibly get. There's no rough on the property at all whatsoever. If you miss the fairway, you're met by gorse bushes, wiregrass, pine straw needles. You're a whole bunch of fuckery off the fairway.
Yeah.
And the greens are pretty much devious. I don't know if there's another word there. Tabletop style greens that, while they're about average at about 6,500 square feet on average, there's really only about 2,000 to 3,000 feet to work with, because if you get anywhere over the edge, these balls will funnel off the back, they'll funnel off the front. False fronts are everywhere, and it is some really tightly mown lies that you would have to chip through or putt up to get on the green. So I think a bogey can turn into triple very quickly around Pinehurst, and I think that's what people are going to have to watch out for.
Very quickly. And that's where I think there is definitely, like, you think of some of the guys, and obviously we'll get into smash or pass, but like course strategy and these guys that can take advantage of these unpredictable shots that you're ultimately going to have, no matter if you're Scotty Scheffler or it doesn't matter who. The steep runoffs are crazy, and it's going to lead to a great tournament. So I am pleased with it. It'll be fun to watch. As far as what you looked for in a guy, everyone's probably looking at similar stuff this week, but
yeah, I mean, you're looking at a couple things when you look at a U.S. Open. Obviously, you have to take the length of the course into account. You're always going to have insane length on these courses. Pinehurst is no different. It's a little shorter than a typical U.S. Open track. It still has 2 par 5s. You had a couple par 5s that were par 5s for the members and at previous events. Be turned into par 4s by the USGA. They're just super long. So we got a couple 530, 540 yard par 4s that will play very, very difficult this week. You have a few long par 3s, but you do have a couple like breather par 4 holes that may or may not be drivable during the week, depending on how the wind's blowing. So a couple under 350 yards that guys will take a look at. But really what I wanted to look at for this is bogey avoidance. Obviously, the ability to basically get up and down without making too many mistakes on a course where, in previous holdings, there were only a couple guys in the entire field that were under par. I think bogey avoidance will be absolutely paramount. 3-putt avoidance is another one, especially when you're going to have guys putting off of these tight runoffs instead of choosing to chip and, having the ball take a kick that you might not want it to. I think a lot of guys will putt from off the green. So lag putting will be very important. Then obviously opportunity gained, and birdies are better gained.
Yeah.
How many chances you're giving yourself to pick up a stroke on the rest of the field, I think is going to be absolutely paramount. So looking at all of that, obviously course fit, recent form, always important at majors. You never want guys that are not playing their best game of golf going into a tournament like this. It almost is never a recipe for success. So, but this is a standard, major track. We're looking at an all-around game.
Yeah, absolutely. Precise approach play, good short game. The accuracy off the tee, I think, is also going to be important here. The more fairways, better for you.
Yeah, good drives gained is huge.
Good drives. I weighted that out quite a bit. Par 4 scoring too, like you mentioned, like that's very important here. Last 5 winners led him par 4 scoring the week they won. Approaches from like 175 out. Apex height is interesting too, like with the conditions that you're going to be under here. It's just going to make things easier if you're hitting the ball a little bit higher. But overall, pretty standard stuff. Strokes gained total, strokes gained around the green. Nothing too crazy. Let's get into our Smasher Passes. Before I do that, the Splash Sports contest for the US Open will be in the description. $12 to enter, 4 entries max, 6 golfers. Your shittiest one gets dropped and paying out top 3. So be sure to get into that. Let's jump right into these. Smash or pass. Sam Burns, top 30, plus 120. He is also a first-time dad alongside his buddy, Scotty Scheffler, and they will be playing on Father's Day.
I think it's going to be interesting. I actually went into this thinking that Sam Burns was going to be a guy that I would end up betting on and putting in the card, in some sort of finishing position. This kind of, sets up to be a course that he could play well at, despite the fact that he's more of a wedge specialist than a long iron specialist. I did not come away with feeling that way. My model absolutely hates him. He's 77th in my model this weekend. The comp course that I found, Shinnecock Hills, is a massive comp course alongside Augusta National here. T41 at Shinnecock in the U.S. Open of 2018. Nothing really stood out about how he played there. It was kind of just a very ho-hum week. He didn't make many mistakes, but he didn't really do anything either. And that's kind of what we've come to expect from Sam Burns lately. If he's not absolutely on fire, it's very unlikely that he kind of pushes. And what I didn't like about the top 30 here is that he's just so below average in so many of these metrics that I'm looking at. 94th tee to green, 72nd ball striking, 68th birdie or better gain, 70th in bogey avoidance. His proximity bucket is not that great from 175 plus. It's just a lot of negative things about me. The pressure, honestly, of playing on his first Father's Day could be just a little bit too much for him to overcome. So I am passing on the top 30 here, plus 120. I think I would have liked to see a better number with the kind of golf that he's played lately. He's been very hot or cold this season. Outside the Amex win and a couple other spots, I haven't really seen him play that well. Certainly nothing that, gives me hope that he's going to contend in a major championship this week.
I'm torn here. He also has the miscut at both majors this season. He does play pretty well at tough courses. I'm not hot or cold on either way. I'm not someone that bets Burns, so maybe that's a piece of it too. He put together 2 solid last 2 starts. I could maybe get there with the top 30, but even what was it last week? Yeah. What am I looking at here? He was bleeding strokes on approach. I don't love that coming into this week. So I mean, I think there's other numbers I would rather bet. Like if I'm going to bet Burns, I'd rather go for the ceiling, and I'd rather bet him like a top 10, top 5 and get good value. Cause I don't like at top 30, whatever. At that point, it's like, do you really want to be betting on him? Cause I either think he's going to top 10 it, or I'm not, you know what I mean? Like I just a top 30 on Burns, guys like this, just that doesn't excite me at all.
I could see Burns blowing up on a couple holes at a course like this.
Yeah.
Just not really the course, not really making a ton of sense for a game of his caliber. We've seen him have a little bit less control over some of those mid to long iron shots that could really kill him on these greens. So I could see that being an issue. He does play well on Bermuda grass greens. If there's a saving grace, that's it. But I don't know. His record at Augusta really turned me off as well. So.
Yeah, this is again, I just would rather bet him a top 10 than a top 30. Like if he's going to, because I think if I think he's going to play well, I think he could be in a top 10 conversation, whatever.
Yeah.
Plus 120, I think there's way more exciting names in that area that are a little bit more fun to root for. But Bryson, top 10 plus 225, smash or pass.
So I think the overwhelming narrative on Bryson is that because he just absolutely destroyed the U.S. Open several years ago, that he's going to win his second major at this spot. And I just don't know if I believe that as much. I mean, Wingfoot, a little bit of a different golf course than Pinehurst number 2. I'm not so sure that he didn't just get, very helped out by the COVID delay that year as well. Golf course playing in September, a lot different than playing these golf courses in, mid-June when it's like baked solid. I'm not so sure Bryson's game is very conducive to playing on a course like Pinehurst, where you can get into a lot of trouble with some wayward shots. I'm not so sure with Bryson. I haven't been on the same kind of wavelength as everyone else with him here. The record is good. And obviously the Masters record is very good there. But I don't know. Something just off about it to me. So I'm going to pass on this with Bryson.
Okay. I feel like people are either in on Brooks or in on Bryson this week. Like I don't see a lot of people in on both of them. So I think you're one or the other this week. I'm going to smash this one. I think just everything aside, like it's good for golf having him in contention right now. He's been really fun to watch. He's one of 4 golfers to post a top 10 in every major this far, second at the PGA. I think his length off the tee could be really big for him here, especially if he is hitting fairways. Great ball striking lately. 3rd strokes gained tee to green last month. 6 strokes gained around the green at the PGA Championship. Number 1, a good drive percentage over the last 24 months. Like you could go on and find reasons to like him here. He also was putting off the green quite a few times at Valhalla, and he seems really comfortable doing so. I think that he's an example of one of these like course strategy guys. Like I think I can get there with the top 10. I'm not going to bet him outright, but I would not be surprised if Bryson is one of the guys that we're seeing a lot of.
Yeah. I think with Bryson, just for me, like I got worried when looking at his like lag putting, 108th in three putt avoidance, scrambling on short grass, 54th in this field, 66th in bogey avoidance. The tee to green numbers, the ball striking numbers, birdie or better, they're all great. That's why he's in the top, quarter of my model. But I don't know if I'm there with the top 10. And I think if I was going to bet the top 10, I would rather just bet like the outright with an each way.
Okay.
At that point.
Okay. Next one, smash or pass. Love big top 20 minus 110.
Yeah. So this is a smash for me. Even with the knee brace, I'm okay with it. And I think betting the top 20 when he's played so well in his first couple majors, and really just this entire season, I think you're getting a little bit of discount with the knee issue. They're obviously extremely consistent lately. T15 or better in each of his 5 of his last 6 starts. And obviously the only miscut was the PGA Championship, but I think this is a much better course fit for him. He plays really well on these longer courses and loves Bermuda grass. Third at scrambling from short grass. All of his other numbers are extremely good here. And I think I'm laying off the outright because Scotty and his knee issues. But if you're betting a top 20, I'm not sure there's a safer option than Ludwig. I think always what you're going to get from him is a lot of consistency. Place like this, if you're betting consistent guys, I think you're going to be better off than betting higher ceiling and lower floor guys. I don't think Ludwig's floor is anything lower than top 20 if he manages to make the cut, simply because of how well his game is suited for a course like this. Extremely good with total driving, good drives gained. He ranks in the top 10 of this field. And I really like the way that he has played right now. So played really well in the Masters in his first major appearance of his career. And I think that does a lot to kind of like steady his nerves now that he's done that. And he gets to a course like Pinehurst, which is kind of aesthetically similar. I think he'll look at it the same way and say, let me just play my consistent game, not go for anything crazy. And I think that'll serve him really well at a course like this.
I'm so torn. Like, I hate the knee thing. I hate the way he's answering.
Didn't look like it affected him last week. That's just my thing.
No, I agree, because his numbers are great. I think this is a fine number. Like, you look what he has done. I might be interested to bet him top debutant, because this is going to be his debut. That's plus 140. Yeah. But maybe that's just me being a little cowardly. I'll smash this at the number. I don't know that I'm personally going to bet it, but I don't think it's a bad number off of what he's been doing, his skill set. And I think he can compete with the best of them.
Yeah, I think, what we're looking for from Ludwig is basically, from him to basically say, he's probably not ready to win a major just yet, but I think he's comfortably in that contending bucket where no golf course is going to scare him. And I honestly think Pinehurst is a very good setup for him for the way that he plays. So I'm not worried about it at all.
I actually don't even hate his top 10 numbers plus 210. I almost don't hate that either. But you get so much cushion there with the top 20. So I'm fine with it. I don't hate it. Okay, next one here. Smash or pass. Sorry, I shouldn't laugh. Morikawa top 10 plus 188.
This is interesting. I kind of want to, I know that you were going back and forth over betting Morikawa this week.
I don't feel good about it.
Honestly, the fit is all there. Like, you're looking for an approach wizard, good off the tee, and a guy who doesn't have to chip much because he can putt through the runoffs instead. And when we look at how good Morikawa has kind of putted lately, I am not really that worried about this. So on paper, I kind of like it. It's the intangible part that worries me. The fact that he just went through a massively stressful loss at the Memorial after playing so well all week. It's the fact that kind of, the high of that could lead to a low here and just, throw him off just enough to where Pinehurst can, chew him up and basically spit him out. We've seen Morikawa get into some wayward situations, and unlike the heavy rough at Muirfield, which kind of serves almost as like a safety blanket, if you duff it a little bit, at least you're still going to have kind of like that fluffiness and it'll come out soft. I think if you screw up like that at Pinehurst, you could easily turn, 2 or 3 shots into 4 or 5 shots very quickly. Yeah. So I do worry about that with Morikawa. I worry about his scrambling a little bit here more than I do most. The putting, while it's been solid the last couple tournaments, it's still always going to be an issue. It's still going to be an issue with him. He's a guy I view as very good with his short to mid irons. The long irons can be questionable at times, but he's still one of those guys that can get there So from an approach standpoint, I love it. But from an intangible standpoint, there's something about it. I'm gonna pass this week. I don't like to bet guys after they have a really good week that doesn't end the way they want to. So a guy that plays really well and then finishes runner up to like just an unstoppable force like Scotty, it's always a bad omen for me for some reason.
Yeah, it's the same in football when there's like these emotional wins and I never take the team the next week. Like I'm definitely tempted. I get it. Like he is playing very, very, very good right now. It's T3, 9, T16, T4, a fourth, second. Like he has what, 3 straight top
and has played well in both majors.
He's played well. He's, you look at his driving accuracy, his length, his whatever. But again, like you can kind of make up for it there with the accuracy. Good drive percentage. Like I get it. My thing is, I'm with you on this. Feels like a disaster waiting to happen, and he finishes T45 like that.
I might bet him to miss the cut. I'm considering it.
He sucks on Sundays. I don't think that he can win right now. Like I just don't think he can. He started.
I mean, he played really well.
He did. Really I know, but like overall, like he's kind of at some point starts to like lose it, and he like manages not like to just get himself into a bad spot somehow. He started losing his cool is more where I was going with the sucks on Sundays thing.
Yeah.
He was losing his cool quite a bit. And you're not going to be able to do that at a course like this. Like you can't lose your cool because it's going to piss you off a lot of the time. You're going to be in these really tricky spots. He also brought up like Scotty and like how that impacts him and his post presser. And like, it was just weird. Like I don't know. I think there might be a mental piece here more than anything else. Like his golf is great. I see it on paper. I get why he's 16-1. Like, I don't blame people if they want to bet him like in the without Scotty market. I just think like there's a mental piece here. So right now I'm out. If I post my card on whatever tomorrow and you see some form of Morikawa on there, whatever, I convinced myself into it, even though I said I wasn't going to bet him anymore. But yeah, I think there's a mental piece here.
Yeah. I think I always thought last week was the week to bet Morikawa. I took him for one and done on here last week because I did think that there was a chance that he would win the Memorial. But the U.S. Open is just a different animal. I mean, I don't know. I think there's something about it. I do think there is like certainly a mental based component to whether he plays well or not, and I think that'll be a huge thing. Come Sunday for him.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I don't know how I feel. I have mixed feelings. Okay, next one.
I'm out if it wasn't.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I'll let you guys know. I think I'm out. I'm pretty sure. I'm 90% sure I'm out. But it makes sense. Also, it's hard to go back and bet someone again after they lose in that fashion. Like it's painful. And I don't know if I'm ready to get past it yet. I'm still, as someone that doesn't like betting him in general, I was not amused last week. Okay. Smash or pass, Xander first round leader.
Yeah, this is a smash for me. I will say that betting first round leaders is not for the faint of heart. I would not.
You're the one that just said you don't want to bet them anymore. So what is that?
I would not correlate them with your winner parlays. 9 of the last 10 first round leaders at the US Open have not won the US Open. So do keep that in mind. Obviously last year, that was a big thing. We had Xander and Ricky both post 8 under record 62s at LA Country Club. So I'm going back to the wall with Xander again here. 25-1 kind of seems like a crazy number to me for a first round leader bet. I mean, Xander is honestly one of the best first round players that we have on the PGA Tour. T2 in round 1 scoring average this season. Obviously, like I said, co-led the US Open last year after round 1. And he's 4th in strokes gained tee to green last 3 years on very difficult courses in round 1. So, we have to take the U.S. Open thing with Xander into account here. He's one of the better U.S. Open players in this field. Obviously has a long streak of top 15 finishes here. So, I don't know. This is a fun bet for me to make. I am coming out of retirement to bet a couple first-round leaders.
Out of retirement from what? Last week? What retirement?
2 weeks. 2 weeks. Thank you very much. 2 weeks.
Oh my gosh. Whatever.
2 weeks.
I'm going to pass on this just because I am strong. I don't want to bet first round leader, but
the person who just said she was going to get bullied into betting on Morikawa is strong, everybody.
Whatever. So I'm going to go back to what I've been doing with Xander, and I am going to bet him top 10 this week again. I think that him winning 2 majors is in a year after he couldn't get it done is crazy. Like I cannot get there with like an outright, but like if he finishes top 5, if he finishes top 10, like, am I going to like be so shocked? No, he's one of the best players in the world right now. So I think he hits it long and straight, and he's going to keep himself out of I trust him to keep himself out of problems a little bit more than some of these guys. I also think Xander, other than, when he's in contention on the weekend, he's pretty even keel. Like I think he's cool, calm, collected. I think he can play well here. So I will end up betting him. I should have done it earlier in the week. I did it. His top 10 number is plus 125, which is about standard for what I've been betting this entire year.
The spoiler, that is my dad bet. I actually caught a plus 155 on that on Hard Rock early this week. I was just so shocked.
Yeah,
that they hung a number like that. That's so disrespectful to Xander when he's done that in 6 out of his last 7. We'll talk about it more when we get to the dad bets, but it's perfect.
Yeah, absolutely. Smash or pass. And I don't know what's up with me lately. Corey Connors, top 30 plus 130.
This is interesting. A Corey Connors line made it into my US Open rhythm preview. And at first, I kind of chuckled like you did. And I was like, I don't know about this, but I kind of like it. He's playing very, very well. Like 2 weeks ago, I would have never taken this. 2 weeks ago, Corey Connors didn't have a single top 10 on the year. He had the longest streak of top 20 finishes on the year without getting into a top 10. Then obviously finished 6th at the RBC Canadian Open. Last week, finished T20 at the Memorial, played very well. I like this. I think you're getting good odds on Corey Connors to play well at this tournament here. And despite the fact he hasn't been much of a majors guy in his career lately, he did string together 3 straight top 10 finishes at Augusta National from 2020 to 2022. So I like the fact that he's been able to play well at a course like that there. He's gained strokes on approach every event this season. And I think the one spot you can nitpick him is his short game. And I think that gets negated.
He bled strokes, like absolutely hemorrhage putting, didn't he last weekend?
He does. He definitely does hemorrhage strokes putting, but I think
he makes up for it, which is fine.
Yeah. I would rather see him putt than chip, if that makes sense.
I don't like watching him. I hate watching him fucking golf, so I don't know. And then his top Canadian number is interesting. That's plus 140.
Yeah, it is.
I don't know which direction I'll end up going there. I'm definitely smashing this. I'm not going to take the top 20 on him. While I think that is within reach for him, just because I think the putting could absolutely fuck him here. So I think I'd much rather, you look at his tee to green, all of his numbers. I mean, he's playing very good golf right now. It's actually very hard to make a case like totally against him, other than he can just play like Corey Connors.
Yeah, so. I mean, if anybody's able to get himself into trouble at a course like Pinehurst, it is Corey Connors. That being said,
I can see it now. Yeah.
That being said, the top 10 play that my rhythm model this week gave me was Corey Connors top 10 plus 550, and I took it. So yeah, that tells you all where my unhinged brain is on Corey Connors.
Okay. All right. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment who you think is winning this week as well. Might be doing a giveaway for Father's Day because we're going to keep it on brand. Let's talk about the quad Ds. Who is your one and done this week?
So 2 guys are my one and done. There's the one guy that everyone expects to win, and then there's the other guy that if I wasn't betting Scottie Scheffler that I would bet. And it just so happens that the 2 of them are 2 of my 4 outrights for this week. It is Scottie Scheffler and Xander Schauffele. They're the only 2 people that, in my mind, realistically have greater than a 10% chance to win this tournament. My one and done will be Scottie. Outside of the 3 futures that I have, I am single bulleting Scottie this week to win this tournament. It's just a strategy that I am too cowardly to put in place outside of any major. And I like I said, earlier in the show, if Scotty does not get arrested, we are likely looking at, him trying to conquer the Grand Slam this year. So, and I think there's a decent shot that he wins both the U.S. Open and the Open. I just think that there is nobody that is better than Scotty Scheffler right now. He's truly inevitable. Like we're getting to prime Tiger levels. Like
you guys always complain about it too, and it's actually awesome. And I want everyone to finally bathe in it because everyone was so whiny for so long. Like what we were witnessing was awesome.
It's great to see like someone take over golf. It obviously remains to be seen whether he'll have the kind of longevity at this peak of his career, because this is definitely the peak of his career right now. Like he is in the prime, he's unstoppable. This is what we talked about with Jordan Spieth 8-9 years ago. This is what we talked about with Brooks Koepka 6 years ago. This is what we talked about with plenty of guys who were 2 or 3 year wonders. Scotty, I think, has the makings of a 5 to 10 year peak prime. Just the way he plays, he doesn't put himself in much harm's way.
It's the off the course stuff too.
Yeah.
He's just so everything about him is like he has like strokes gained like wife, strokes gained family, like strokes gained, like everything about him is just like he's gaining in all aspects, and then also playing the golf that he's playing.
We have a graphic of Scotty here, a tweet put out by the Athletics' Justin Ray. Scotty Scheffler's ranks in the majors since the beginning of 2022. Scored a par, first. Strokes gained total, first. Strokes gained approach, first. Greens of regulation, first. Rounds in the 60s, first. Rounds inside top 5, first. Strokes gained ball striking, first.
Everything.
This is just an embarrassment of prime golf play that we are seeing from Scotty Scheffler. Really just the mental game is all completely there for him. We haven't seen someone who's put this all together since early 2000s Tiger Woods. So if there's anyone who is able to do it, it is Scotty Scheffler. And if I'm playing devil's advocate, the only player on the PGA Tour this season that ranks top 40 in strokes gained off the tee, strokes gained on approach, strokes gained around the green, and putting is Xander Schauffele. So one of those two players will win the U.S. Open. But for my money, I'm going with Scotty Scheffler.
Yeah, Scotty's my 1-9 as well. I am not betting him. I'm finding creative ways to play him. I just don't think that Scotty is losing on his first Father's Day as a dad. Like that's just a ridiculous thing that I am not expecting to happen. I don't know how. I don't see a world where he's not in contention. I have only bet 2 guys. I kept them at what I was at, and I'll talk about my dart in a second. But Cam Smith, I bet on. I don't feel as good about it now, but because he's not the most accurate off the tee. But he can find fairways, just not always hitting driver, probably, especially here. His short game is elite. That's the one thing that, makes him so attractive. And he's played well.
It's not the mullet? It's not the mullet?
No. It's just that he's not playing well on live. But, I think he's one of those guys that, got that win and then kind of, went to live. And he's just, he's just playing golf. I don't think he cares. I
view him like Brooks. Brooks was like, exactly. I took the money. This was for my family. Him and DJ were like, I took the money. I don't really care if I play well and live.
Right.
I'm just going to go hunt majors. I think Cam Smith is the ultra contrarian leverage play at Pinehurst, because while the penalty for missing the fairway is very tough, if you go far enough to either side that you avoid the gorse brushes and the wiregrass, you can get some standard lies. And like you said, Cam Smith is the best scrambler on the PGA Tour next to Scotty Scheffler. I do think that, and Cam finished solo 4th at Los Angeles Country Club, which has its own set of hazards.
Yeah.
So I'm not too worried about Cam Smith here. I really like the number. I bet him top 20 myself.
Yeah.
So I'm in on Cam Smith this week.
And like just like a random little tidbit, the last time in 2014 there was 2 Australians in the top 10. He's obviously from Australia, and I think there's a lot to like between that course and what they're used to playing and comfortable playing on. So I don't know. I think just based on his elite short game, I do like him here. I still will stick with that. I guess I'll go right to Dart so that I can give out my next one before we go to Dad, because you apparently already leaked yours a little bit. But Thigala, I bet him. I got it last week, 65-1. I believe it's down to 50-1. Great ball striking. I think he's also, we've seen him more comfortable in these tougher fields now. We've seen him play 12 at the PGA. What is it? I think he was only 45th maybe at the Masters, 27 at the US Open last year. He's gaining enough experience that I think you're seeing a comfortability that I like. He is creative. And I've always said forever, especially if you've been listening to me, I think his big win is going to be at exactly this. I think it will come from a tough, very difficult type course. His putting worries me obviously a lot. His last 2 starts, he's lost more than 2.5 strokes putting. But last week, look at it, 6.3 total strokes and 8.9 tee to green. There's a lot to like. I think the thicker type rough situation suits him well. So I like it at that number at 65-1. I'm not going to go past that as far as what I'm betting. I will probably only add one more person to my card, and then it will just be a lot of placement plays, which is not abnormal for me though.
Yeah, so I also have Thigala as my dart throw,
okay,
which is unfortunate. Yeah. But I will also add that I really like Tony Finau this week. I will not be picking him to win.
He's growing on me. He's growing on me.
I'll find something creative for him. The putting is the worrisome part. Yeah. Obviously, it always is going to be very worrisome. 3-putt avoidance on fast Bermuda is not great, 101st in this field, but he can scramble off short grass. I do think he's going to be okay there. Bogey avoidance numbers are solid. Tee to green numbers on very difficult and long courses are solid. The ball striking is good. One of the better mid to long iron players on the PGA Tour, and he plays well in majors. He has a great record. I feel
good about it. I have a weird feeling. I feel really good about it, which is a bad thing probably, but I feel good about it.
I mean, he has a very good major record. I will say what I did notice, Shinnecock Hills, the comp course for the US Open, did finish solo 5th there that year. Did not play in the 2014 US Open, made his major debut at the 15 US Open, but very interesting. I mean, he's been playing well in majors his entire career. T14 at the 2015 US Open, which was his major debut. Obviously, like I said, 2018, he finished 5th. And then at the 2020 US Open at Wingfoot, that Bryson won, T8. So if you like the Bryson narrative, you like the Tony Finau narrative, and obviously has always played well at the Masters. So I do think this is a course that kind of suits his game. A lot of things that we've said. If anything, it's the short game that throws you off.
It also fits the dad narrative too, because he has so many kids. We can throw in the dad narrative.
I like it though. So I'll find a way to bet Tony.
Okay.
It'll probably end up being like a top 10, top 20 narrative type of style or a matchup. But I do think Tony is, a nice solid, further down the board list. You can get him at DraftKings right now, 60-1.
He's just so easy to root for.
Oh yeah, of course.
I just love him. All right, my dad bet, because I know you mentioned yours, so I'll let you do yours quick after me. Sepp Straka, big boy, Sepp Straka, top 30 plus 125. He's coming in really good form. Top 8 in 4 of his last 5 starts. Also an 11th at Zurich, if you want to go back a little bit further. His last 5 majors, cut T16, T2, cut T7. That T7 was at another Ross design. He's hitting 74% of his fucking fairways in 2024. more. I think that that's going to come into an advantage for him this week. He led in accuracy last week. Yeah, I think his driving is going to help here. I think a top 30 is not asking for a lot from a guy in the type of form that he is in at this current state.
Hey, I mean, his last hole that he played was a chip in on 18 at Muirfield. So, I mean, after how bad that round was, it's probably nice to kind of come off that way and end with a birdie on a chip in because he played really poorly that final round. So, but yeah, my dad bet, like I said, was Xander top 10 plus 155. That number is no longer available anywhere.
No.
It's a really good number.
Absolutely.
It's about 30 cents higher than it should be. Honestly, it's just like 50 cents higher than it should be. This should be like even money because Xander has been top 15 or better in each of the last 7 U.S. Opens. Last 6 of his last 7, he has been in the top 10. He's the U.S. Open specialist in this field. And more importantly, he's the Donald Ross specialist. He ranks first in strokes gained total on Donald Ross courses over his last 36 rounds. I really love that. Like, he's everything you want in a U.S. Open contender. Major winner, complete short game, strong lag putter, can get up and down from the short grass well. He can dial it on approach. If anything is nitpicky, his driving accuracy can be a little bit iffy at times, but he's added about 7 miles an hour to his ball speed. He can push it down there when he needs to. And I think he's just in the best form of his career right now. And, you know, there really isn't that much of a gap between him and Scotty. Scotty has had the killer instinct all year, and Xander really hasn't until recently. That was the difference for me. And I think if you're finding a reason to nitpick Xander, it's that, you know, the killer instinct was not there. But I think winning a major just opens the floodgates. So I do think he is perfectly able to win a major. I think if he were to win another major this year, it would be this one, not the Open. And this is an auto bet for me. Every U.S. Open, the auto bet is Xander top 10. Really, if you've been watching this show for any length of time, this is our go-to bet. It's the one we feel safest with. We've each been riding Xander top 10 pretty much all year at this point. We're not stopping here. So, I mean, Xander is everything you want. And like I said, he's got probably the most complete game on the PGA Tour right now. So
yes, we love Xander. That was the longest rant about Xander. We already talked about Xander, Sam. They know we love Xander. Oh my goodness. I literally am gonna go back. I am dying to know how long that Xander rant was. I love it. It was the longest Xander rant ever. I loved it. It had to be at least, I'm going 1 minute and 30 seconds. We're gonna see how long it was. It was great. Okay, let's do dumb fuck bets. I said it last week. So I'm taking Sam Bennett, top 40. Someone needs to root for these guys. I think he only played the Texas Children's Open as a tour event this year. He finished T72. He had 2 really shitty rounds, but last year we know T43 US Open, T49 2022, and then he does have that T16 at last year's Masters. Just very much enjoy betting on guys like this. So.
I went with a guy who has been slightly more successful this year. Does have a win. Steven Yeager, top 40, plus 165. That's not pretty deep number.
That's like reasonable. That is like a very reasonable bet, I feel like.
Fine. Every time.
Sam's going for a clean.
My bets are always stupid.
Why. Live a little.
My bets are always stupid. Yeah.
Yeah. No, they're stupid.
I don't know. I struggled. I looked for like 12 hours to find a dumb fuck bet, and I couldn't find one. Like, I liked everything I saw. This was the dumbest bet that I could possibly find.
I get it. I don't know betting him. So it is. Top
the model ranking is 11th.
I was just saying he rated out well for me. I'm pretty sure.
The putting can make me want to like drive off a cliff sometimes.
It's so bad.
But top 20 in tee to green and ball striking.
What's the number on it again?
The number is plus 165 for the top 40. 3-putt avoidance is 11th on firm and fast Bermuda, which I found really interesting because putting has been such a sore spot for him at times. Yeah. And I really like that he's upped his ball speed again. He hits the ball really high as well. So if we're going back to the apex height, I really like that for him.
Okay.
And his fairway proximity from 175 plus is really solid. He's in the top 5 in that. So kind of just an all-around solid profile for what we're looking for here. That being said, he could do some dumb shit, as Jaeger sometimes does.
Yeah.
Sometimes he just loses his head, which is the risk. But top 40 plus 165, I like it.
Yeah, I'm with you. Last 2 that I want to throw out, just fun ones. Min Woo, top 30 plus 125, 4 straight top 30s, actually, including the PGA and the Masters.
Don't lie, you're only betting him because of the scroll video.
Okay, but also, did you see my friends at Snapback
I did.
Bets?
I did.
I guess squirrels are actually seen as a good fortune and abundance. So
I did see that.
There's that. Yes. So we will be betting him. I think that you look at everything, it's just everything's been really solid. He kind of stopped hemorrhaging strokes on approach and then kind of put it together. And then also going into like the dad Father's Day angle, that Justin Lauer video of him talking about his dad that he lost when he was 15 and just being able to play on Sunday would be really cool. I'm obviously fucking betting him top 40 plus 260 because I have to do that.
Narrative
shit.
Shit.
3 straight missed cuts. So like, it's not great. It's not
There's
great.
no reason. There's no reason. It's just
for it, but we're going to do it.
unhinged.
We're going to do it.
Of course.
And I think I'm going to end up betting Bryson. I just decided.
Okay.
Not Bryson, Brooks. And see, I can't. They look like the same person, I feel like, in my head. Meatheady.
Just a small issue of them hating each other.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna end up pulling the trigger on that. I just decided now. He has those like
Do you think people like Bryson now? Like Bryson is now morphed into like one of the most popular figures in golf.
Yeah.
Like on the PGA tour as well. Just like he's so relatable.
I guess. Yeah, I don't know. His YouTube videos, he like uses like Walmart like
bro, his Snapchat is so funny.
I'm too old for that. I like barely go on it. I try my best, but I can't. Okay, let's wrap it up here. Be sure to join the Splash Sports contest. Like this video, and we'll get out of here. Good luck. Hopefully we win some monies this week.
Yep. Don't forget to sign up for Rhythm either.
No, Rhythm as well.
Watch him make it, break it, break it, break it.